reasons. Had it all, but you craved attention, drowning in your own reflection. Put me down just to see me get back up again. 6 feet under and you're ready to give all the pain. If I was your new addition, you make me part of your equation. Shattered from the past, wish you were my last. Shatter me to pieces like broken glass. Frozen looking at pictures that we took back in the summer. I thought that I would remember how we used to feel, but this isn't real. Now we're over. Take it all, there's nothing left here anyway. We used to talk, but now we don't know what to say. Now we're just two passing strangers. We tried, you lied goodbye forever. Put me down just to see me get back up again. 6 feet under and you're ready to give all the pain. If I was your new addition, you make me part of your equation. Shattered from the past, wish you were my last. Shatter me to pieces like broken glass.
Came from a broken home. I've seen so many people go. Learn to make it on my own. It's easier for me to be alone. So how are you? Keep cutting through, claiming you're not like the other guys. And only if I could give you a chance, show me that you mean it, won't feel some type of way.
Welcome to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're watching our coverage of NACE Collegiate Overwatch. Boise State is looking to start the fall off with on the right foot and is going to be continuing their momentum as they have been starting this season off with a lot of wins, a lot of great moods along the team, and you can see a new playing arena as the Boise State Broncos have been practicing there a lot. I am your host, Jacob Jem Palmer, joined by Brenner Bear Ladd to talk about tonight's Overwatch match against UC Davis. And Brenner, the Broncos have a lot to look forward to, not only in this match that's happening tonight, but they have had a lot of wins, a lot of momentum behind them, and they're going to be going to Hugh Fest very soon here. So what's been the overall kind of mood of the team?
Definitely high, to say the least. You know, as you mentioned, we're getting ready to head out. We won our first game. Hopefully we're going to win this one and the one that comes afterwards. So a lot of good things to look forward to, and I definitely hope we see some amazing plays from both sides this time.
Well, let's take a look at the event tonight to see what the matchup is going to be. It is Boise State versus UC Davis, if I'm not mistaken. The Broncos versus the Aggies, and the Broncos have been having quite a tear. Last time we covered them on NACE last week, they just completely rolled over the other team 3-0.
Yeah, it was pretty devastating for sure, and a very strong showing for Boise State, coming right out the gates in the first game of the season. So going into this next one, you want to see that momentum continue, because we all know Overwatch is not a snowbally game whatsoever. So hopefully that stays true, even though we want it to snowball.
Well, let's take a look at the overall format for tonight. It is NACE Overwatch Best of 5 with Control, Escort, Hybrid, Assault, and then Control should it go to a game number 5. Boise State has the pick of the first map as they are the higher seed. The map loser will choose the next map, and the first map chosen is going to be Lijon Tower, so that's what we have to look forward to. First off, Brenner, and I think we saw Lijon Tower last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that was the prediction that came true for that, and we even started off on the Gardens. It was back-to-back perfect call-outs from us, surprisingly, of just pure guessing. So it definitely seems to be Boise State's favorite pick first, starting off on a control map. And then we'll probably go to Kings Row, as that is the broken record map that everyone loves choosing, because there's no variety or options otherwise, as we all know in the Overwatch scene.
Well, let's take a look at what our team is going to have to keep in mind before they get to this first match. And that should be Doc's keys to the game. And Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch is to never take a fair fight, and that means to take fights in unexpected places when the opposing team is unprepared and take advantage of tempo. That's Doc's keys to the game, brought to you by Drop In Gaming. Drop In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. And let's take a look at the opening lineup for the Broncos as we get ready to head into this match. A lot of very talented players. We have Plato, Kel, Gob, Maxwell, Large Bagel, and Chosen. And overall, who are you most excited to see tonight in terms of what they can add to the performance?
I mean, I still want to keep my eyes on those two tank players. Plato was the MVP of last time in the prior matchup. So going into this one, we know the tanks are the key players. They are your front line. If they fall, your back line usually crumbles unless your DPS are able to click on heads like no other. So it is definitely going to be those are the people you want to focus on. Also some of the supports as well. You know, typically a Large Bagel and Asu, Nerdy are the people you want to watch out for, as they are the supports. Without them, your team will fall down. So having those heals are definitely going to be the keys. If we see even a dive cop come out, those support players are going to have the pressure on them.
Well, today's opening lineup is brought to you by Count. Count Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enables personalized customer experiences for more than 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. Count.com, Count.com. Well, once again, the matchup, Boise State taking on UC Davis tonight. We are going to be ready to hop into the first game. Lijon Tower is the first. And once again, this is Boise State versus UC Davis in NACE Overwatch. The Broncos have been starting this season off with an explosion of momentum. We'll see if they can keep that up as we head into the first match of the night. Getting into Legion, and we're just going to get right into it.
Yeah, jumping right into Lijiang. We're actually starting with the tower this time around, and it looks like Boise State is on the red side with UC Davis on the blue. So jumping right into it, we're going to see a huge engagement from Gob on the Doomfist, knocking out multiple members of UC Davis, with Kel able to get an elimination onto Frost, as well as Gob picking up that Symmetra. So things already not looking good for UC Davis, as there's having multiple members for Boise State getting on the aggression, with Cal getting another 2-piece, and Boise State securing the first point with that first team fight going their way. They're definitely having the ult advantage here, with Chosen already at the 56%, Plato at 60, Gob at 50, compared to UC Davis, with Royal actually having the 67, so he's just barely beating out Chosen, but the rest of his team is not looking too good, with only Ecal at 52%. Gob waiting for that cheeky drop pick, and he's going to go right in onto those tanks, because as I mentioned, if you lose that frontline tank, your backline's going to collapse, as Gob already diving into the backline, able to get a great charge fist onto that McCree. He's going to end up falling to Cal as well. We're going to see the amplification matrix as well as the meteor fist come down from both sides, ults exchanging. Gob's definitely going in on those heals, trying to keep the backline disrupted the best he can, but it looks like the rest of his team is going to be able to clean up shop, with Kel and Maxwell getting some eliminations. But KO with the double elimination flame strike is going to be able to pick up 2 members of Boise State, but with this Boise State aggression, UC Davis is going to have to regroup.
The good thing for Boise State is they were able to burn off the amplification matrix from UC Davis right as UC Davis was already down a few in that engagement. Chosen is fighting well, going to use their amplification matrix as well as the photon barrier coming out from Maxwell. Boise State starting it off well. They already get rid of main support. Ecal using that gravitic flux, but it doesn't look like it's going to get too much mileage. The only thing they have to show for it is Plato going down, but the rest of the members of Boise State, Gob, Kel, and Maxwell, are going to take out 4 members of UC Davis, keeping the point in their control past the crucial 80% mark.
Yeah, that was not a good engagement for UC Davis. They tried to open up with that shadow and only landed on 1 member with the photon barrier, as you mentioned, coming right back up and splitting up those shots is not what UC Davis needs right now. So it looks like Boise State might even go for the teleport into that team fight to prevent them from even touching the point, with only 98% remaining. It looks like they are going to be able to get on it, and the Shatter's going to come out along with the drop the beat. So it's really down to how well UC Davis can brawl, but it looks like Boise State's going to be the dominating force, with Gob getting another Meteor Fist coming in with the self-destruct, able to pick up both supports of UC Davis with the Archer Bagel, even able to eliminate KO on the Rhine. Plato then gets another 2-piece onto Frost and Ecal, and with that being the team wipe, Boise State takes round 1 of control on Lijiang Tower.
A very great start to their overall match. This is kind of exactly how they started off last week too. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think they had 3 team wipes last week, so they're on pace to at least match that, I would assume. As we head into the next map, it is going to be Gardens, and you said last week you were hoping to see some boops here, and with a large bagel and main support both choosing Lucio, that might be what we see.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing the comp swap up for both sides. Only the Divas seem to remain, and even a large bagel on the Lucio, but we're going to see Maxwell do the last-minute swaps onto the Sombra and Reaper. So it looks like we're going to have a mirror match here. So it's definitely going to come down to the player skill rather than having the different characters. And yeah, you definitely want to see those boops with the Lucios trying to speed in his team the fast as he can, but it looks like no one's going to go for any right off the bat with any pharmacy comps. And with these being mirror matches, we're already seeing the hack come right out onto Maxwell. Oh, but Gob gets the first elimination onto KL. Losing that frontline Winston is not what you want to see for the side of UC Davis. Already demeching the Diva as well. Boise State's already having a very strong start as they're chasing away the remaining members of UC Davis back to their spawn.
That's a very great stagger that they put onto UC Davis right now. They're going to try to poke up to that choke point there. Try to get any sort of damage here or there without overextending themselves.
Yeah, anything to charge those ults so you have that advantage for the next upcoming T-fight. And already we're seeing UC Davis actually swap off the Moira over to the Ana, so they're losing that ult charge but now they also have the Echo. Looks like they changed up their DPS as well, so UC Davis going to try not going for the mirror match because it seems like Boise State has been winning that. But already they're going to lose 3 members as they got a little bit too aggressive there. So UC Davis is able to get those refrags and push onto the point and see if they'll be able to finally take it for the first time, as they were unable to pretty much even touch it in the last map. And Maxwell having that EMP is going to be very key, but he has to wait for his team to regroup because it looks like they're just now struggling to get onto the point, just trickling in. They're going to stall it for as much ult percentage as they can, maybe even going to get it to 50% before they cap it, and they do not, capping it out 48, but UC Davis finally takes the point.
That's going to be a nice stagger onto Chosen as well. UC Davis, in terms of what they have, they're going to be online with 3, possibly 4 ultimates for this next one if Royal can get their nano charged up quick enough. Boise State already having the Death Blossom coming online for them. Plato also available with the Primal Rage. It's going to start with the hack that goes on to 2 members, and Plato immediately gets a pick onto Frosty, followed by KO. The beat is going to come out from main support, but I didn't really see it go on to anybody, so they're not going to get that added survivability with the Primal Rage. Also taking out Tracer, Ecal, and main support also eliminated. That is a very quick engagement and take from the Broncos.
Yeah, they committed pretty much all of their ults through that fight. We saw Gob use the Death Blossom and not actually get a single elimination with it. We saw Maxwell use the EMP and land onto several members of UC Davis. But when they try to use their ults to get that re-engagement, it did not get the value that they so needed. So opening up with this fight, we're going to see Frost go immediately into the duplicate onto the Diva and go as aggressive as he can to get into the faces of Boise State, and a great sleep onto Plato as well in the backline as KO just falls off the map. I believe that might have even been a boop as Plato it's the jump down onto Royal. So it looks like it is full stall right now for UC Davis, because Boise State has such strong control of the point, and them owning the cap, they're just getting free percentage here as UC Davis has yet to regroup. And there we see another boop, just simply ran out of juice and fell right down. Boise State is dominating this point right now.
Well, we'll have to see if UC Davis can at least get back to the point. They are able to keep this going into overtime as Royal with the anti-nade onto a large bagel is really going to be the only thing UC Davis has right now. Their Diva's going to charge in, trying to just get any sort of pick that they can. Now KO's going to start that by getting Goblin, and a large bagel is also just respawns for Boise State, so it's a little bit even right now, but with that coalescence, Maxwell and Cal also picking up eliminations. The gap is going to be opening up for Boise State. That coalescence paying huge dividends. The Echo comes on to the point, but it's just immediately mowed down, and that is going to be Boise State taking the first win.
Yeah, once again, a very strong showing for Boise State, just commanding that point and showing who is in charge. So maybe going into this next hybrid map, we might see UC Davis come alive.
Well, Boise State is always looking for talents, players, production, and broadcast talent. Top talent, along with good grades and eligibility, can earn scholarships as well. Sign up today by visiting boisestate.edu/esports for more information. Well, I do believe, if I remember correctly, I do not think it's hybrid for the second map. I do believe that it is escort instead. In fact, if we could bring up the rules again, just to make sure that I'm correct in VT1, if we could just go back over the rules, or I could bring it up here. Boise State, yes, it is. Okay, there we go.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it is going to, so we don't have Kings Row for the second map, which is a nice little change. So what would you like to see in terms of the next map for escort?
I don't even remember what the map was last matchup. It's been a long week. Wow.
I believe it was Havana last time. The one that Boise State really struck. No, that was for the NACE match, excuse me. But we have seen a little bit of Havana, but is there any others? Would you like to see that one again, or any others?
I would actually be okay with a Havana, because opening up on that starting point with that really long, just open street that allows for a lot more versatility play that we've seen from both teams, of just having possible snipers, having that Echo come back, same with the Ana. So having that long early engagement point could have a lot of versatility for both teams and show some of their heroes that they're good on that we might not typically see because of what the meta is. So going to a kind of off-meta map might be really interesting. At the same time, we could go to some of the more traditional escort maps just so that they continue with that more brawly comp that Boise State is so good at.
Well, we'll take a short break and see what that second selection is. What will the escort map be for this Overwatch match? Find out after this break.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're watching our coverage of NACE Collegiate Overwatch. We just saw Boise State get a win on the first map, and the losing team will now get a choice of Escort. Any idea what map we see? We've been discussing that before the break. I'm still Jacob Jem Palmer, joined by Brenner Bear Ladd. Boise State versus UC Davis. UC Davis, the Aggies are going to have choice of the second map. We were talking a little bit about Havana, but there's also other choices like Dorado. I haven't seen Junkertown in a while, and that would be a completely out of left field pick.
Yeah, Route 66 as well would be another option for UC Davis, so we'll definitely have to wait and see. I would love to see any of the maps that are kind of just out of the meta picks. People definitely have their comfort, so seeing something kind of classic like Route 66 would be great, but I just heard a little voice in my ears telling me that it is Havana, actually. So hopefully we'll see.
And Numbani, actually.
Numbani. All right, Little Bird was wrong, or
okay.
I'm just crazy.
Yeah,
it's fine.
We were both wrong. So the bad news is we were wrong, and it's hybrid instead. The good news is it's not Kings Row for hybrid, so it's actually kind of a welcome change in Numbani. So what can you tell us about this hybrid map?
We do see a lot of verticality coming in from both sides, mainly on the defense. We could see a couple Tor plays. We definitely want to see some Echo or Far here, allowing for that aerial combat to happen and just rain fire from above is definitely what you want to see. having those higher up ledges and the point down below. So we could even see Boise State try to use that King's Row strat of like the Hanzo, the Torb, the Orisa to defend the point with D.Va flying back and forth between those high grounds to just contest the point when she needs to. And then once they get team wiped, she just goes right back. But for the offense, you want to definitely see possibly even a double bubble, because once you get on the point, you want to protect from if they are up on those higher ledges, or you want to have that verticality with the Pharah or the Echo to pull them off of there.
Well, let's take a look once again at the event tonight and just recap all of the rules. It is best of 5, control hybrid escort, not control escort hybrid, control hybrid escort assault, and then another control. Boise State chose the first map, which was Lijiang Tower, which they got a win on, and that means UC Davis got the choice of this map. They chose Numbani, and we will see how that works out for them. Let's take another look at the Boise State lineup, just to remind ourselves of who is playing. We were talking about Boise State's great tanks and Plato, but we also have some great additions as Maxwell and Chosen are new additions to the team as well. There's another look at the lineup brought to you by Count. Count Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention. Account protection enables personalized customer experiences, more than 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. Well, that is all the information that we have to add before the second, so let's get into the second match right now. Boise State versus UC Davis in the second map. It is going to be Numbani. Boise State, I will have to say, UC Davis already kind of outperformed expectations, as they're the first team to at least take one fight, take one engagement. Last week, Boise State, there was no fight they didn't lose.
Yeah, they were definitely the dominating force, definitely proving that they are the higher seeding here, as we saw that the higher seeded does get to pick the first map. So with Boise State being that higher seed, you want to see that bit of a higher performance from them as well. So when you finally see somebody like UC Davis come in and win a team fight, that's definitely just like, okay, kind of ego check of just like, all right, this is a serious match, let's get into this. And that's definitely what we're seeing from Boise State so far. So going into this next hybrid map, I hope we see that kind of mentality come in of just like, hey, they can win fights, they are a threat to us, let's take this seriously and show why we are the higher seed.
Well, Boise State versus UC Davis, round 2. Let's get into it. It is going to be Numbani again, and are there any sort of compositions that you would necessarily expect here in this map?
Yeah, and one thing I mentioned was the Torb, Orisa, and Hanzo to try to, we see that from the old Boise State Kings Row defense strat. They could easily bring that into Numbani, or maybe even swap out the Hanzo for a Pharah or Echo to have that verticality to just disrupt them as much as they can as they push onto the first point. And as we jump into the roster, we're even going to see Maxwell on the Ashe and Gob on the Torb, so that Torb did come in handy. Same with Plato on the Orisa, Kill on the D.Va, Large Bagel on the Brig, and Chosen on the BAP. And on the side of UC Davis, they almost went for a mirror because they also have the D.Va and the Brig. So I really hope we see some different attack strats here from UC Davis, as they are on the attack first, going up against that Ashe and Plato on the Orisa. They're going to have to try to go for that hard dive that it looks like they're going for, but their two supports are going to definitely get left behind, so they're going to have that good peel that you want to see from this higher level team as they try to push on this first point.
Boise State is just going to try to snipe down from the upper floor here. UC Davis is going to rethink their strategy. I actually think I saw one of their members trying to do a flank from behind, but most of them are going to continue to push up the central point. It just might have been my eyes playing a trick on me right now. No, I think one of them. Yes, we do see the Echo down there, and Boise State might just have that in the back of their minds, but their tanks are still continuing to push up. There's the Tracer coming up through the doorway there, isn't going to be able to get any pick, and it looked like actually the Mercy is going to be pocketing the Echo, trying to get some picks from behind. So this is really interesting strategy from UC Davis. I don't know if I necessarily like it too much because they are so split up, but they're definitely trying to push down on Boise State from all sorts of different routes here.
Yeah, UC Davis has definitely just been charging their ults, waiting for it, and then executing their go plan as we're seeing this team fight take right off.
Kel and Maxwell are going to get 2 picks right there. Boise State still finds himself with the advantage 1. Maxwell hit with the anti-nade, but is saved by the Immortality Field. Kel is going to be taking out Frosty, and Boise State still managing to mount a successful defense here, not allowing UC Davis to get to 1 tick, and also putting a tiny bit of a stagger on there by taking out Kabachi.
Yeah, UC Davis has not really seen like the team push that you want to see on attack. They've definitely just been kind of like stalling until they get their ults, and even when they do, they try to execute and just fall right apart as they're playing so split. And we're already seeing the amplification come right out.
Application Matrix thrown down by Chosen as UC Davis is also going to have one be able online. That's going to be the Nano Blade. As the bomb, though, is also thrown down by Plato. But no eliminations to really show for it. Although Frosty is taken out by Maxwell, quickly rezzed by main support there, who also has their Valkyrie come online. So that is 2 support ultimates available for UC Davis. But man, their strategy of just trying to charge up all their ultimates and then just press Q all at the same time is taking a long time. And it's not going to do anything if it's eaten by the defensive matrix as well. That is insane. Cal and Gob each getting a pick onto Gabachi and Ecal. And Boise State is going to hold UC Davis one more time, getting rid of Frosty's copy and KO. UC Davis's strategy is just falling apart. So what do they do now, Brenner? Their whole strategy was waiting for all their ultimates, and one got eaten by a defensive matrix. So what do you do now?
Target the Diva, especially if she's going to be eating your ults. And we did see Gob swap over from the Torb to the Soldier as well. So he's just going to be able to melt that Echoes as she has been trying to go for the flanks with her Mercy and just getting taken out all the time. We are going to see the self-destruct come out from their own Diva, but it's going to get simply blocked by their own barrier for going into this third team fight.
Kel takes out KO. We also see the 2 supportive ultimates used by Boise State, Rally and Amplification Matrix. Large Bagel able to get the pick onto Ecal as Royal is also taken out by Plato. Mortality Field is taken out by Kabachi, but that's really the only thing that UC Davis has to their name right now. They only have 30 seconds left, and this whole strategy for them has just fallen by the wayside, and this is not the time that they want a stagger to be put onto them right now. With Frosty being taken out, that whole flank just fell apart. Scott takes out KL. Tracer also is going to get taken out, and now UC Davis is in the unenviable position of just having to get one person on the point and try to keep the match going.
Yeah, it seems UC Davis doesn't really have that target recognition that you want for a more kind of dive style comp. You know, you want to call your target and throw everything you have at that person. It seems UC Davis just fell apart once they were like, hey, let's go for this person, and then they would all go for somebody else. They need to have that kind of team cohesion of just, hey, this person is taking the lead, they call it, they go in, you follow. But Boise State was just on top of it all the time and was just getting those eliminations even on the rotations and staggering them, as you constantly mentioned, and that UC Davis just was never regrouped and had that team push to try to roll over that Boise State defense.
It certainly took a long time, that strategy. If the whole strategy was just to build up every single ultimate and all press ultimate as they started that engagement, it quickly fell apart for them, especially since, like you said, with no target focus, you know, you can use all the ultimates you want, but it's going to be that teamwork that pulls through in the end.
Yeah, so going into the Boise State attack here, we're going to see a little bit change up for both rosters here, as we're going to see Maxwell now on the Echo, Gob on the Genji, and Chosen on the Zen, with now UC Davis his own Cab on the Soldier, and Royal now on the Ana, and main support on the Brig. So it looks like they're going to keep on that Echo, who just hasn't really been getting the value you want to see from a aerial DPS of just being able to pick off 1 or 2 members of the defense and then maybe lose their own life, but they're gonna get that 2-to-1 value. And now not even having his own pocket Mercy, Frosty is not gonna have a fun time going into their defense.
Here goes Boise State. They have gone full dive, so one early pick very well do it for them. They just need 1 tick, and they're immediately going to find the Echo off to the side there. Maxwell takes out the Echo. It's just that team positioning for UC Davis that really just kind of keeps biting them in this overall fight. And there goes right into the backline. Plato's just going to go right into the hallway, take out main support. Gabachi, Maxwell also taking out Royal. And that is probably going to be it. All Boise State needs is 1 tick. They have managed to take out most all the members of UC Davis. And that is it. Second win. Oh, no. Okay, there you go. Boise State wins it on Noombani.
Yeah, UC Davis did not have like the team positioning on that site that you want to see. They had a DPS and both supports in the backline with both tanks up front, and that Echo getting eliminated so early on
Yeah,
It's sad to see.
I don't really know what the Echo was doing off there, especially like you said, without the Mercy pocket. Is so much more vulnerable. Well, one thing that isn't vulnerable is the Idaho Army National Guard, a proud supporter of Boise State Esports. Top plays are presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. With more than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for, the Idaho Army National Guard is the best team to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. So it really seems like UC Davis's biggest weakness here is not just being able to really work as a team. It seems like they're just trying to, like every member is trying to use their own flank route, and it just really isn't working.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you what was going on. It could have been communication. It could have just been that they haven't enough time to practice as a team and formulate some of those strats for the maps to have an actual solid defense or even offense for that matter. It definitely feels like we're at some points it's just like, is this a quick match? We're trickling in. People are doing what they want. You know, one person ults and everyone's like, all right, it's time to go in, and then they all get picked off. It's definitely been an interesting matchup so far. So maybe going into this third and possibly final match for UC Davis on the S score, I'm curious if they might try to pull out all the stops here. Maybe they'll rein it in and come together as a team and put up a fight for Boise State so far. We'll have to wait and see for sure.
Well, we will indeed have to wait and see. We're going to take a break, in fact, and then be back with Map 3 to see what UC Davis chooses. Will they be able to stage a comeback? We'll find out after this break.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We are covering NACE Overwatch with Boise State going up against UC Davis. Boise State getting a 2-0 lead and is already at match point as we head into the third game of this best of five. I'm still Jacob Jem Palmer, joined by Andrew Brenner Bear Ladd. It's great to see you with us here, Brenner. And the main thing that I think for UC Davis is they have to get some sort of a win. And I think the first way to do that would just be, let's just get 3 points on our attack push. So if you're choosing the map for Escort and you just want to try to get some sort of momentum behind you, you just want to get to that 3rd point and let's go from there, what map do you choose?
For Escort, me personally, I would go to Route 66. That is a map that has been out since the launch of Overwatch. It's the time that I've personally had the most play time on as well. So that would be my go-to of just everyone knows this map. It's been around forever. Everyone has nearly perfected their strats for it. So that would be my go-to of this is our comfort pick. This is a map everyone knows. We've played it since day one. I would go with Route 66.
Well, talking about things you are used to, it's actually going to be Gibraltar, which we saw last week. But Boise State has shown themselves to be quite strong at Gibraltar. But this was the one map also that the other team managed to get past the first point. So maybe there is something to this map.
Yeah, this is definitely a strong map for Boise State. We've seen them many times have a very dominating performance here. And Watch Point Gibraltar is definitely a point of contention because you either have to snowball and push right through that underneath bridge of the first cart checkpoint, or you never get past it. It is very do or die here. It's essentially the wall of any control map or assault map. Like, you have to get through the doors of Temple of Anubis. You have to get through underneath the bridge on Watch Point Gibraltar. So we're definitely going to see some interesting comps coming out from both sides. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Wrecking Ball even from either side just because of the verticality he allows. We did see some cheeky plays from Boise State last time they were on this map. So hopefully going into it, we see the return of those.
Well, Boise State has been looking good in the standings. They are so far undefeated in this match. And just looking at the overall rules, again, this is a best of 5. We are into the 3rd map, which is going to be Escort. We just had a little mix-up there on the graphic, but it is Control, Hybrid, Escort, Assault, and then Control again. Boise State had the first choice of the map. They chose Legion Tower. They won that. The second choice went to UC Davis. They chose Numbani. Boise State won that as well. So now we move on to Watch Point Gibraltar to see if Boise State can put away this match overall. But before they do, it's always a good time for a quick refresher of what they need to do to win this game, and that is brought to you in Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch, and that's to never take a fair fight, and that means to take fights in unexpected places when the opposing team is unprepared, and focus on tempo, tempo, tempo. That's brought to you by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. All right, match number 3, Boise State versus UC Davis. I do have to say, the Doc's keys of the game are almost kind of really pertinent to Watch Point Gibraltar because we're going to have to see if that Wrecking Ball is brought out, because Boise State loves, especially if the opposing team loves to take the positioning on that bridge. Boise State loves being able to flank that Wrecking Ball from behind and just send all of the opposing team up into the air. That's what we saw last week. We'll see if we see it again this week. Boise State versus UC Davis, round 3 in NACE Overwatch. I don't see a Wrecking Ball. Instead, go over, it looks like Boise State is going for another kind of divey composition.
Yeah, they didn't take really the dive healers you typically see of like a Lucio or a Mercy. They went with the more brawly types of with Nerdy and Asu now on the supports. We did see those swaps come in. Same with Frost now returning to the scene. So we did have some subs come in for Boise State. So going into this next matchup, we'll see if they make the difference for UC Davis, if they'll be able to come alive here as Boise State mounts their defense in this first fight.
Yeah, this is really kind of a veteran lineup for Boise State. 3 well-known names, Nerdy, Asu, and Frost, being rotated in for this 3rd match. We'll see how it works out for the Broncos as UC Davis has already pushed up towards the tunnel here, but this is one of the points where Boise State really kind of likes to kind of lull the other team under that bridge and then just all collapse on them. Right now, UC Davis continues to push to towards the first checkpoint. They're about halfway through under the bridge now, which is a crucial spot where Boise State usually makes their plays. We're gonna have to see how it works out for them.
Yeah, so as this, I wouldn't even say this is a team fight. It's just been a continued brawl. It's so hard to not picture this as kind of a quick match as we see they all pushed up at the top of the bridge. We've only seen a D-Mech so far come out for the side of UC Davis, and they're finally going to get their first elimination with Frosty able to take out Kel after D-Meching him. So
yeah,
we're getting a little bit of action, but it has definitely been a slow start. But so far, UC Davis has been pushing the car as far as, and they got through the underneath arch.
This you really do hit the nail on the head there, Brenner. And this almost seems like a quick play match because so many of the stuff that we're used to, the coordinated team pushes, just seem to not be really there. Of course, I'm talking for UC Davis. Boise State is always very good with their communication, but right now UC Davis is just getting taken out one after the other as the pulse bomb is going to go on to Asu. And Boise State actually was unable to hold that first point. Some key ultimates from UC Davis was able to get them that first point, and that's the start. That's the snowball you were talking about.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to see them continue pushing right through, because last time we were on this map, Boise State held the top of that jet pretty much the entire time to try to rain as much fire as they could down onto the car, not letting it get past that bridge that we see the currently fight taking place. And we're already hearing a lot of ults coming in for this next team fight.
Hear the rally and the Graviton Surge being used by UC Davis. Boise State waits that out before using their Nano Blade combo, and that's going to be going on to ECOW, taking out one. That's only going to be 2 down for UC Davis. Now they start to get a bit of a stagger with the Brig also being eliminated as well. This was the point where Boise State held the team last week as well when they went up against NACE last week. This was the key point where the other team wasn't able to push past.
Yeah, we even saw the stagger there on Royal on that Ana. Boise State trying to buy as much time as they can, as we're probably going to sit here for the next 3.5 minutes. UC Davis is definitely going to charge their ults the best they can and use them all at once, as is the Overwatch meta here. So we will have to see if they're able to win this fight, as they're going to engage with Bob.
They start the engagement with Bob, but no eliminations to show for him. Boise State still very happy to hang out on top of that shuttle and just wait for UC Davis to try to push through these narrow doorways as ECOW picks up a double KO, also taking out Nerdy Bird. And there you go, UC Davis has found what they needed, especially with KO on this Winston, able to get a triple there, I believe, in that engagement. It has been the tanks for UC Davis that have really pulled through for them this round.
Yeah, UC Davis has definitely been coming alive in this third round, as it is match point for Boise State. So, maybe even with the subs of Boise State not having practiced with their subs as often, this could have been the other issue for Boise State, maybe playing a little bit more split than they typically do. But we do see the return of Plato on that Wrecking Ball to cause some havoc. We also see 3 ults on the side of Boise State for this next fight. So I am very curious to see how it might play out for UC Davis coming in.
Boise State is just pushing right up to UC Davis. Kel and Plato doing a lot of work there, taking out Kabachi and ECAL. UC Davis is going to just reset for that one. They do have a lot of ammunition, though, for this next engagement. Gob actually just uses the Genji. Okay, is there a strategy here I'm not aware of, Brenner, for that?
Not to my knowledge. I believe that is the famous thing called the fat finger, where you just press Q instead of W, or any of the other keys that you might have been going for, and there it goes. But we will have to see if this plays out, as he still gets the nano without the blade, and it looks like he's even going to get elimination.
Yeah, and a little bit of redemption there for Goblin there. That happens to all of us. I am not in a position to judge right now. Asu was almost eliminated there, but was healed up, also used the rally, but Goblin and Plato are going to be taken out by KO. Main support also getting a pick onto Kel, even though main support was hit by that anti-nade, is able to heal up, but Nerdy Bird isn't able to heal up and get takes out by Frosty. And this is going toward the final point. Boise State has to, I think they have enough time to wait to just do one more main team fight here.
Yeah, we see Frost waiting in the wings, and already we're hearing Cab call in, I believe, his 3rd bop of the game. This Ashe is charging her ult very quickly as Kel launches the Diva Bomb and is able to pick him up, but only the one. Boise State is in an all-out defense now.
With that minefield thrown out, UC Davis has to try to dance this dance. They have plenty of time, though. I was going to say they have to try to touch the payload, but they're not in that position yet, so they can just kind of wait this out. As Plato was able to get a pick there. KO is taking out Frost, and Boise State is still not quite managing to hold UC Davis completely at bay, as most of the eliminations that they've been getting have been being traded back and forth. Both teams are at 5 right now. Boise State is getting hit with the anti-nade. Asu in a little bit of trouble, but manages to survive that. Graviton Surge is going to take Plato and wrap him up, but there is not really a huge amount of follow-up. Kabachi was able to take out Plato. His main support also uses Rally, being used by both Briggs, both teams committing to this team fight. UC Davis trying to get the 3rd point here, but will they manage to do that? It doesn't look like they do. Boise State does manage to hold them, and they're in a much better position now. KO's going to switch over to the Reinhardt. What do you think of that swap?
I actually really like it, especially with the Zarya that allows you to have the bit more of the brawly comp. I would actually really love to see the Tracer swap off to a different DPS just to have more consistent rather than that blade. But we are going to see the Nano Blade come in with Gob just going straight for the back line.
And it looks like that's going to be a huge dividends there. A triple is going to be taken onto UC Davis now. 4 of them are down. They start to respawn. UC Davis is just going to have to do a full reset there. Let Gob have his fun with that Nano Blade. And now they still have time for 1 more team fight, maybe 2 though, as they all respawn. They're actually just going to swap right off the Reinhardt and go back into a Winston here.
Yeah, UC Davis definitely has been having an issue of deciding what team comp to can really commit to. So maybe the double bubble will be the answer to the question, but not having to go into the Nano Blade may be the difference, as the Diva Bomb honks right into the back and gets the same member of UC Davis once again.
Now UC Davis is going to find their time quickly running out. They use the Nano Boost there and are able to take out Nerdy Bird. So that could be the opening for them, but Plato is going to try to put some pressure on that Brig, unable to take out main support. He is behind all the members of UC Davis, though, and is going to drop the minefield right onto the back line. Ecal, though, takes out Kel and Plato as well. Both tanks are down for Boise State, followed by their supports with that sticky bomb coming in clutch for UC Davis. Also, Bob just going to go right into the doorway, prevent Boise State from getting to that payload. That's what UC Davis needed to do. Get 3 points, move on from there. I applaud them.
Yeah, UC Davis having that issue with the team comp, but able to still bring it back and finally get to the end of the map with their cart. So now with Boise State on the attack, I definitely think we will see Plato on that Wrecking Ball pretty consistently, as he's able to just disrupt the UC Davis backline. We even saw Gob probably stick with the Genji, same with Nerdy on the Ana, because that Nano Blade did get a lot of value when Gob did have the Dragon Blade up and didn't fat finger it. So hopefully we will see the return of that even on attack.
We're going to see the loadout Boise State chooses in just a few seconds here. You are right, it looks like Plato is going to be going onto that Wrecking Ball. In terms of UC Davis, it looks like they're just sticking with what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, we have this policy in a lot of the games of if we don't have a strategy, haven't had the time to formulate it, play what you're comfortable with. If you know, hey, this is my best hero, this is my best role, what I'm good at, maybe it doesn't work in this team composition, but it's where I will perform the best, then play it. Because if you're able to get value from it that maybe some other team members wouldn't, or from your team composition, it still works as you are able to balance it out. So maybe that is just UC Davis's plan right now.
Ooh, but I do see a swap onto the Symmetra from Frost. We might see if there's some sort of teleport play in Boise State's strategy. Doesn't look like they're really going to oh no, there goes the teleport, is going to be used by Boise State. So how is it going to play out for them? Right now they start pushing the payload forward. Boise State unable to get a pick thus far. There they go. That's exactly what they did last time, too, using that Wrecking Ball to catch UC Davis completely unaware on that bridge. But no eliminations thus far, but some good ultimate charge for Boise State nonetheless. They have managed to take the high ground and knock UC Davis off their defensive positioning. That actually bodes pretty well for them as they continue to push toward this first checkpoint.
Yeah, an interesting choice by Boise State as well to keep Frost as the tracer on the payload rather than someone like Nerdy with the Ana with the longer range heals even from underneath the archway. I find it quite interesting. It was just seeing one of the first eliminations of this matchup so far with Kel finally taking out Frosty. It's definitely been a slow start for both sides with UC Davis just playing off to the right.
But I think that's really crucial for Boise State because they were just looking to get through that main choke point under the bridge there. By able to knock UC Davis completely off of their high ground, they were able to buy themselves enough time to get past that crucial hard choke point. Sleep Dart is going to be hitting Asu there as KO uses his Primal Rage. It's going to be knocking Boise State off of the high ground. The Genji Blade is available as well as the Nano Boost. There it goes. Nano Blade out for Boise State. How many is it going to pick up? There's one. There's two. Both supports. He gets stunned, though, and that's going to be the end of his Nano Blade adventure.
Yeah, Nano Blade has definitely been the key pick here for the Boise State comp, as Gob has been doing quite well on that Genji, and we see Frost even use his own Pulse Bomb, but is not able to land. Instead, he's just going to go for the melee onto that McCree, and Asu's going to be able to get the boop elimination onto the Zarya, but Kel's going to be able to eat up the enemy Pulse Bomb as UC Davis is mounting their kind of final defense for this first card point.
Yeah, I think that might have been a little bit of fat finger from UC Davis or just a panic ultimate there. UC Davis was not in a position to do a full team fight there. So unfortunately that Pulse Bomb is going to be wasted. They are managing to start Boise State out for a little bit longer, but Boise State has taken the first checkpoint. We're moving on to the second part of this map.
Yeah, going into the indoors, it's gonna be a lot less worry about kind of falling off the map, as that's a very small point of contention of Watch Point Gibraltar or underneath the archway. It's going to be a fight for the Jet here, as we see what UC Davis's defense might look like here, as they are still having yet to change up their composition.
Gob got the first pick onto Royal, but both Boise State supports are out of it. Quickly, the rest of their team starts to fall as well. That rally being used by main support, certainly allowing UC Davis to mount a great defense here. Plato is just going to have to go for the reset, waiting for the rest of Boise State to respawn. But now that UC Davis has used all of their ultimates, Boise State can make some plays. Oh.
Yeah, we're seeing just some kind of one-on-one going on in the background between the DPS and Royal on that Ana. And so without having that Ana, Boise State could definitely take advantage of UC Davis being down a healer, but it looks like that they're just going to keep things kind of slow and steady, with Plato going right into the backline and even using his mines.
That's going to force UC Davis out of that doorway, and that's just kind of what Boise State wants right now. Be able to buy themselves some time to get to the second checkpoint. Also crucially for Boise State, there actually Nano Boost was used onto the Winston there for UC Davis. Ecal is able to take out Gob as Frosty is trying to fight two tanks. Boise State isn't going to quite work out that well. Ecal gets hit with a Sleep Dart. Diva Bomb being used by Kel, unable to pick up anybody, but Boise State having a bit of trouble actually. I thought that that team fight was really done, but with this Primal Rage being used by KO, he's managing to stall out some of the members of the Broncos. He gets taken out by Kel at last as Kabachi uses that Deadeye, is able to take out Gob, which is actually really crucial because that Nano Blade combo was expended by Boise State, so they no longer have that. And UC Davis managed to hold them for a little while longer.
If this isn't the definition of a quick play match, I don't know what is, because it has just been utter hectic of not even so much team fights, but just kind of brawling, if not one-on-ones, 1v2 fights consistently. Ults being used kind of to get one or two eliminations, not kind of the team composition or togetherness that you want to see, as we do see Gob get elimination on KO, now swapping over to Soldier 76. UC Davis popping many ults to stall out Boise State right now.
Graviton Surge and Nano Boost used by UC Davis. Boise State is going to find themselves down one as the Nano Boost is used. See if that can help Boise State. It's going to be used onto the Wrecking Ball. He uses his minefield right in the shuttle. It still isn't able to pick. Okay, he is able to pick up Frosty with that minefield, but I don't even know what's happening anymore. The minefield going off in that shuttle. It just seems like everyone is just trying to fight everybody on their own terms as main support uses that rally. UC Davis managing to hold Boise State to under 1 minute for the second point. That's a very crucial pick by both support. supports. Nerdy Bird getting the pick onto KO and Ecal as well. Both tanks down for UC Davis, and quickly the others follow as main support gets taken out. Frosty as well, but I don't... Okay, Boise State manages to take the second part. I was about to say, don't underestimate KO's ability to stall out Boise State, because that's been where he's truly shining. Yeah, and this next upcoming team fight, he's going to have that Primal Rage as well to stall them out even longer. But now Gob also has his auto aim up and running, so we'll have to see if that will be the defeating factor for KO, as well as Asu with the rally. Rallies have been popping out left, right, and center, and we're going to see him use it immediately right as KO goes in with the Primal Rage. He also gets hit with the anti-nade as well, but is no danger of being taken out quite yet. He's down to about half health now, though, as all the members of Boise State focus on to KO, are able to take him out. But while they were doing that, Plato and Nerdy Bird also got taken out. Boise and UC Davis using that nano boost. Frost also out of the picture, as well as Gob. Both DPS is gone for Boise State, and without their firepower, they're going to have to reset again. They only have a little over a minute to get to the third point. Yeah, Boise State is going to have to bring it together and go for that final push. They do have the nano along with the auto aim here for Gob, so we will see if that will be the big playmaker, as both tanks for the side of UC Davis actually swapped off. Same with Royal going back over to the Baptiste to try to keep as many members of UC Davis alive as he can, and we see the combo come out for the side of Boise State. Yes, the nano boost and tactical visor used is able to take out Kabachi. Kel is taken out of his mech, though, by KO. Gob is able to take out Royal, followed by Ecal. That's what Boise State needs to push on to the third point. They have about 30 seconds left as KO is taken out, followed by main support. And with that 5-player elimination streak and the minefield in that doorway, UC Davis is still finding a way to take off another 10 seconds from Boise State's time. They are finding a way to push through, I don't know how, but they managed to push it to overtime. Boise State having a little bit of a time advantage in overtime. Yeah, that 16 seconds could actually be the difference there for both sides if we do go into the overtime, or if not. In this Boise State UC Davis matchup, this has been the best showing for UC Davis so far. The first two maps were very much a Boise State clean sweep, but as soon as we brought in our subs, it has been an even matchup. So UC Davis, this is their chance to shine. I really have to hand it to them, because they have really outperformed the other team that we saw last week, as Boise State is going to be loading into their loadouts. Still no changes from UC Davis. It's just basically go with what you're comfortable with, but we do see Plato going on to the Orisa, and okay, no, it's going to go into Reinhardt instead. Yeah, it looks like they might go for more of the traditional hard hold rather than kind of the high-speed divey that we see from Boise State, as we see Nerdy now on the Baptiste, Asu on the Lucio, Gob on the May, and Frost on the Sombra. They might even try to do the old Boise State defense strat of hold that little side room and don't let the card get past you. This is a strat we have not seen in a long time, but it looks like it is coming back with these subs and kind of the old faces we all know and love from Boise State. So we'll see how UC Davis decides to defend against this, because they are so used to Boise State being up on that ledge. Yeah, this isn't really a defense position that you see a lot of teams take, but Boise State really managed to make it kind of their own strategy last season. We're seeing that being used again. The payload still isn't moving, as UC Davis is trying to push as much as they can through this narrow doorway. Both teams exchanging a lot of damage, and the ult starting to charge up, but no eliminations thus far. Now Boise State and UC Davis still trading through the doorway. It's going to be the anti-nade, though, onto Plato. That is the first victory for UC Davis. And the Primal Rage also used by KO. Nerdy Bird is going to be the victim of that. Boise State is now down 2 in this fight. UC Davis continues to push forward, but Boise State managed to burn off all of their time, which could be the crucial goal here. Yeah, Boise State at best is going to have 1 to 2 team fights before they get to that first checkpoint and get more time on the clock. So UC Davis is going to have to mount a very strong defense here if they want to be able to keep this attack alive and not have to defend their hearts out here, as it is match point for Boise State. Do not go away from that payload. That is what's keeping this round alive for you right now, UC Davis, as the rally is used, as well as the nano boost. The beat and amplification matrix are also going to be used. Bob is also going to join, as well as a shatter being used. Everything is going into this narrow corridor, and it's KO there, followed by Bob. That is going to do it for UC Davis. They managed to get the team wipe against Boise State. That is not something that we see often. Congratulations to the Aggies for pulling that off.
Yeah, UC Davis committing practically every ult they had in their arsenal to that fight and did pull it out, absorbing everything Boise State threw at him. And that Bob was able to even get a two-piece all on his own in the back line of Boise State. And they're able to get the checkpoint, as Boise State was not able to rally to the cart in time. So going to this very next team fight, we're seeing more ults come out.
Primal Rage has certainly been coming through for KO. It's just been kind of the difference for this match, as Kabachi is the only one Boise State manages to eliminate. Nerdy Bird and Kel being eliminated, followed by Frost. Little bit of everything has gone from Boise State right now. All of their roles are having to respawn. Only Gob and Plato managed to escape. They're giving up even more territory to UC Davis here, but remember, that clock is at 0 seconds. UC Davis cannot go away from that payload at any time. If they have their attention taken away from them and they're careless, their overtime will end. So now here we go into this next contest here from Royal. Is actually going to get hacked there, but it's Asu who gets taken out first by Ecal. The tank so powerful for UC Davis, as well as the pulse bomb onto Plato. Boise State is going to have their main front line, and more importantly, their shatter taken away from them for this engagement. Cal is down to Pilot Diva. Boise State is just having to retreat again as UC Davis takes another point and is up to 5.
Yeah, as we hop over to this Lucio, who did not have any texture on his hands as well. Overwatch being made by the small little AAA company Blizzard, there will be bugs. So going into this final hold for Boise State, it's been overtime this whole time. And Boise State trying to brawl on the cart. This is not the comp you want to see for a brawl on the comp. Or on the cart, you want to see something like what UC Davis has with that Brig and Zarya, which is why they've been winning so many team fights.
That application matrix also placed off to the side there. Not a lot of advantage is going to be used for Boise State. It's actually a huge shatter there as the Graviton Surge is used by Ecal, and a huge hack as well. That is going to be the end of your push, UC Davis, and the Broncos stop them before the third checkpoint.
All came down to one team fight, and once Boise State had that ult advantage, they took it, they used it, and they got it. So now it is down to their attack if they can push the car all the way up to essentially the third checkpoint. So we might be in for a long stall from UC Davis. Hopefully we don't see the same trickling in as we've seen from Boise State in this prior matchup. We see a little bit more team pushing here on the side of UC Davis, as well as they've actually come alive on Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Love how Boise State has kind of switching their comp, trying to strategize the best, and KO on UC Davis is just like, hey, I like Winston. Primal Rage stalls him out for a long time. I'm going to stick with that. And that's mainly been UC Davis's main strong point in this match. But also Ecal as well. The tanks have been so insane for UC Davis. We do see the first swap, I believe. That's Kabachi going on to the McCree instead of Ash.
Yeah, whenever we've seen him on the McCree in the past, we haven't seen a ton of value. As we all know, Deadeye is the most powerful ult in the game, and yet it has not gotten any value here, surprisingly.
He did manage to get one elimination, I think, during Boise State's first push. He did get one. So.
And I believe it was Gob on the Genji of all people as well. He just timed out the deflect perfectly. So hopefully going into this defensive, we will see him get a ton of value for his team, as they only have a minute before the overtime kicks in. And there, it looks like they're going for the more traditional defense of that top ledge, but if Boise State just goes all in on the cart, they can just push right underneath it and not even have to worry about UC Davis's defense.
We see Gob here trying to pepper through a few shots over that shipping container, but isn't going to be able to do it. But more importantly, Boise State manages to go under the bridge. This is a very crucial choke point here. They want to get out from underneath here. UC Davis just kind of goes off to the side like we saw last time from them. Sleep Dart crucially onto KO, and Boise State is just going to focus him down. He does manage to survive, though, and fight another day, so UC Davis is still at full strength.
Yeah, we're down to the 25-second mark with no members of Boise State actually on the cart right now, so they're going to have to definitely regroup and get on it if they just don't simply want to get timed out there and go into the overtime. Someone's going to have to touch it. But now with Asu on that brig, I really hope we see Boise State kind of brawl on the cart a lot more as they're trying to take out this one Tracer who's just been causing a lot of problem for Gob.
KO is also going to use his favorite rival rage to just cause Nerdy Bird a whole lot of stress right now. Plato is also eliminated. And more ultimates coming online for UC Davis. It does not look good for the Broncos. It is high noon, and what does that spell? I think it spells the end times for Boise State. They are not able to get to the first checkpoint, and UC Davis, the first victory against the Broncos against match point. We have a real match right now. And I am very excited to not see another 3-0 sweep. That's all I'm going to say. Well, you can score pro advice at esportstower.com. You can improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure, especially just like UC Davis against match point there. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Go to Esports Tower right now to find out more information. Well, we have got a real game on our hands now. This is very exciting. And what do you think was the main thing, the main difference for UC Davis that really changed it for them in that last match?
Probably Boise State actually changing up their roster, not having the main list of players, getting your subs in so that they have that gameplay time. But it also throws up the communication and strats of they haven't been caught up on it. It's mainly been the main roster playing, so having them come in definitely threw in some chaos for Boise State, which could have led to the loss. So technically, in my mind, Boise State's no longer undefeated as they have actually lost a match to UC Davis. So good on UC Davis for finally breaking that streak. And they definitely came alive. They stuck to their guns. They stuck to the team comp that they knew. They played well. And as you keep mentioning, their tanks came alive, and they held on to that front line.
Well, Boise State now still has an opportunity to close out this match, but UC Davis has a lot of life to them right now, and we will be back with round 4 in this best of 5. Can Boise State stop this newly found momentum from the Aggies? We'll find out after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're watching our coverage of NACE Collegiate Overwatch. We are heading into Map 4 and everyone's favorite game mode, Assault. We thought we wouldn't see it by this semester, but we still have a whole semester left with Assault, so yay. Based off what we've seen, though, for the first 3 maps, I'm still Jacob Gem Palmer, joined by Brenner Bear Ladd. So now we go into Assault, and Boise State is now going to have the first choice of map for the first time tonight. And what do you think they will choose here?
Probably Temple of Anubis. That is definitely the map we've seen them play the most. And with kind of the roster that we have seen them play, we definitely see a lot of Ashe from their side. And that's definitely the map that I think she performs better than on Hanamura. So hopefully between those 2 choices, we do see that coming out. We could also see Volskaya, as that is a possible pick, but we have seen Boise State played in the past, but I think for Assault choice, we see Temple Anubis more from other teams, so they might have better practice on it, and they might just feel more comfortable on it.
Well, let's take a quick recap of the event tonight. It is, in fact, going to be Temple of Anubis. Probably one of the hardest second points to capture, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Right now, we'll do a quick recap of the overall rules for this event. It is a best of 5, control, hybrid, escort, assault, and then another control map if needed. Boise State had the first choice of the map. They chose Legion Tower, won that. The second map was Numbani, is chosen by UC Davis. Boise State won that. And then came Gibraltar. UC Davis pulled it out and was able to get a victory, so now we are 2-1 heading into Assault. So Boise State, it's going to be interesting to see what overall lineup they choose here, because they did sub in some players and it didn't go so well for them last match. So will they stick with what they have, or will they go back to their starting lineup? Just one of the many questions that we have right now. So overall in Temple of Anubis, are there any heroes that you think we might see be brought out for this particular match that we haven't seen at all earlier tonight?
We could possibly see the Pharah if the Ashe or Widow plays really aren't on point here. We could also see, we've seen pretty much everybody on the tank side, because we've seen the SIG. UC Davis was running the SIG for a very little amount of time. So we've seen all the tanks. DPS, you can only have so many. And then supports, we've seen all the supports, because Boise State even used the Zen for a bit. Same with the Mercies. So it would definitely come down to the snipers and the aerial plays, because that first point on Temple of Anubis is where you see them shine. I wouldn't be surprised if both teams were running the Baptiste, because having him be able to jump on the top ledge for either defense or even attack could be so key, especially having that immortality field up. So I would not be surprised if we saw at least those members on both sides.
Well, we'll have to see what both these teams want, especially from UC Davis, who seemed to be a team that just went with what they were most comfortable with, and it worked out wonders for them last time. So just have to see what happens as we move forward here. This is our matchup, Boise State taking on UC Davis. We're going to jump into the 4th match of the night. Once again, the Broncos versus the Aggies, Boise State versus UC Davis in this NACE Overwatch match. Round 4, Boise State still at match point. We'll see if they can win right here. So off we go into Temple of Anubis. Gob is actually going to be bringing out the Widowmaker. First time we've seen her tonight.
Yeah, that is something I brought up, is those snipers are going to be the key point. We're going to see UC Davis stick with what they know. Everyone's sticking to the roles that we've seen them on the prior maps. So not having that Baptiste could be detrimental for them, as they are pretty split up. The Tracer all the way up in that corner roof. Maybe trying to go for the cheeky, just blink in, flash, deal as much damage, burst as you can, and just recall right back. We're going to see Ecal even trying to throw out some early damage with those right clicks and not really landing anything. But on the side of Boise State, we do see the return of the main roster.
Actually, Gob is going to swap over to the Doomfist, but the Anti-Nate is going to go on to 3 members of Boise State, but none of them are eliminated. Gob very low on health, but does manage to survive for another fight as UC Davis rotates back to the point itself. Boise State is going to be going to the high ground here. So Winston tries to meet them up there. Anti-Nate is going to be thrown on to 2 more members of Boise State as Maxwell goes down to half health. Gob, though, is going to take out main support, followed by Kabachi. Mortality field is now out for Boise State, as well as Chosen. But still, Boise State has the advantage. Gob is just going insane right now on this Doomfist. That's 4 for this team fight so far. And Boise State manages to get the first point as if it was nothing.
Yeah, Gob is definitely showing UC Davis the definition of playing what you're comfortable on, because he is a dominating force on this Doomfist, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him just go straight into their spawn, just give me more targets right now, as we're going to see the typical assault as we either snowball or we're going to sit here and stall out for as long as we can as KO is going to activate his Primal.
Primal Rage is being used by KO right now, unable to take up anybody. Actually pushes Maxwell way out, but now KO is way back in Boise State's backline and needs to get back to safety. Main support was also able to take out Plato. And as you were saying, this was either the point where it's snowball or we hold him at the second point, and I'm leaning towards the latter here, Brenner, because this second point, because the spawn is so close to the second point, it really is kind of one of those points where it's almost like you chip away at it a little at a time, just trying to get at least one tick.
Yeah, this next upcoming fight is going to be huge for Boise State, as they have 5 of their 6 ults coming online here, with UC Davis only having the 3, even though they just used the nano and didn't get almost any value out of it, with Frost only able to eliminate Gob. It looks like Boise State's still going to go for the push and commit everything they can to it.
Deadeye is being brought out by the McCree, as well as Blizzard, and Diva Bomb is able to take out Kabachi. KO follows quickly after. Boise State manages to pick up 1 point, but as this round goes on, it gets harder for Boise State because, although they might do it right now, they managed to! Wow, that was a quick snowball right there. Boise State managing to do it in record time on Temple of Anubis.
It's the typical Overwatch start. You get your ults, you press the button, and you go and you win team fight. It's the Overwatch method that we've seen tried and true since day 1 of the game. So UC Davis is definitely going to have to come alive here if they want to be able to match the perfect time of Boise State's 420.
Well, it's just Boise. Well, UC Davis will have to do a complete snowball right here. And this is a little bit hard to do on Temple of Anubis, but it is Assault nonetheless, one of the snowballiest of the modes, excuse me. So here goes UC Davis. It'll also be interesting to see what route they choose here, because going off to the left there really boxes you into some narrow hallways, and Boise State has been more than comfortable to kind of abuse that geometry with far-range heroes in the past.
And it finally happened. UC Davis changed up their team composition with now Frosty on the May, KO on the Rhine, Royal on the BAP, and main support on the Lucio. So new faces for the side of UC Davis hopefully will make the difference for them, as they're going to have to immediately swap back to what they know and love, the heroes that we've seen all night in this matchup. But Boise State's going to bring in that Pharmacy, as well as Kel on the Sig and Plato on the Orisa. This hard defense is going to be hard to penetrate for UC Davis.
Here we go, Farm Mercy being used by Boise State there, trying to get some chip damage. UC Davis is actually going to have one of their members way off to the side. That Tracer is way off with no support. I don't know what Tracer's even doing over there, trying to get some sort of flank, but right now the team is pushing in the completely opposite direction, but somehow their Tracer is managing to survive. Probably used a recall, if I'm not mistaken. It's still over there though, so Boise State still hasn't taken out that Tracer.
Yeah, talk about causing some problems in the backline. When you've got that split focus, it's definitely not what you want to have here, as Boise State's on the hard defense, but UC Davis has yet to even push out of this room, with Maxwell just raining as many rockets as he can below, and even gets the rocket barrage off and takes out both supports for UC Davis.
But look at KO, he still might be the hope for UC Davis right now, picking up a double onto Boise State, but Kel is going to get res there, pushing Boise State back up to full health, and KO is taken out, so that is not going to be a successful push for UC Davis. With as much time as Boise State has in overtime, UC Davis needs to make something happen, and fast.
Yeah, UC Davis is definitely running out of time, with Boise State very securely keeping that time advantage, and this is why we all know and love Assault. You either snowball, push in like Boise State did, win that first team fight, win the second team fight, and just take the point so early on, or you'll just never manage to crack it. It looks like KO on that Winston's even going to jump all the way through that top point and try to go for around the side, splitting up and trying to get Boise State off that top ledge.
Oh, he does manage to cause a bit of trouble for Boise State's backline right now. Manages to just meet Boise State. Frosty also getting a pick onto Gob as Boise State throws down the supercharger, going to be taken out quickly by Royal. And there goes UC Davis, also using the Primal Rage, which it charges so fast for KO. That's going to be the first point probably taken for UC Davis, and that was a crucial fight they needed to win. If they weren't going to take it now, it probably was going to be a thing where they couldn't even take the first point, and they managed to prevent that. Although Boise State is going to try to hold them to this first point by throwing down the amplification matrix, and Valkyrie also used by a large bagel, but Chosen is taken out by Ecal, and a large bagel is just hovering over the point, just contesting it right now. It's going to be taken out by Frosty, and Boise State now just is trickling in. They aren't able to take on. Gob tries his best, as well as Maxwell, but Maxwell is also eliminated there. Only 2 members of Boise State left on the point, but right now I think it might just be a thing where they're happy to stall and take as much time as they can. All of UC Davis's luck.
Yeah, we did hear Maxwell even try to use that rocket barrage, but get cut off immediately. But Boise State was able to burn a lot of ults from UC Davis. So if they even want to try to snowball onto the second point, they're not going to have that advantage with it being 1-to-1 ults. Things are not looking good for UC Davis, especially time-wise, as they only have 3.5 minutes to take this second point. And already Boise State is set up pretty solid for this defense.
There goes the nano boost for UC Davis. It's going to be thrown onto KO. Gob uses Meteor Strike. Remember, with the balance changes, that resets all of his cooldowns as well. It doesn't reset, but makes him recharge really fast. But that's not going to matter as Gob and Maxwell are taken out. Both DPS is gone from Boise State. KO is just insane on this Primal Rage. Large Bagel and Kel are taken out. But can they secure this point? Does look like they managed to get 1 tick now. The respawns are going to come in fast for Boise State. That's why the second point is so hard to take, but they managed to get to the second tick. Can they do it? Can one member of Boise State get there? They managed to do it, and now they're contesting as Cal uses that gravitic flux, and Gob with a double looks like they're going to hold UC Davis from getting that crucial third tick.
Yeah, and an absolutely amazing push by UC Davis, able to get multiple eliminations. And as we keep saying as a broken record, KO on this Winston has been such a force to be reckoned with here. Definitely the star MVP player for UC Davis right now, as Boise State was able to regain their footing on the second point. UC Davis just needs to win a single team fight, and they'll get it.
One team fight, but all it takes is one member stalling out this point on Anubis, and the whole team can respawn. It is very challenging to take this point. I was amazed that Boise State managed to do it all in one on their push. It's something we don't see too often here, as Maxwell is actually going over to the Junkrat as the Maywall is thrown out, as well as Amplification Matrix. Gob is already going to pick up 1. KO is also going to be taken out by Kel. Maxwell also taken out Frosty. Can they get a team wipe here? It looks like they might be able to. Well, Kabachi responds, so that is not going to be a team wipe, but good hold nonetheless from Boise State.
Yeah, UC Davis changed up their composition. KO now on the Rhine, Royal on the BAP, main support on the Lucio, and Frosty's even swapping it up. Same with Bachi, 2 new DPSs as well. UC Davis losing that ult percentage.
I almost think Gob is the key point here for UC Davis. If you manage to take him out and he no longer is the playmaker on the Doomfist, it completely changes the dynamics of the match. What we'll have to see right now is that Diva Bomb isn't going to take anyone out there. Meteor Strike available to Gob. Immortality Field thrown down for Boise State, keeping them alive, is eliminated by main support. There goes that Meteor Strike. Isn't going to pick anyone up, but he is going to have all his moves back available for him, and that is Royal taken out, but Ecal managed to take out a large bagel, but all of their members are falling by the wayside right now. This is just going to have to be another reset, and they just have to hope to take this in the next engage.
Yeah, you were definitely right in saying that Gob is the key player you want to take out if you are UC Davis here, because having that Doomfist, they haven't really had an answer for him. We haven't seen them try to play something like the Sombra or even the Zen to try to help burn him down quicker with the hacks and Discord. So UC Davis not really being willing to try some new strategies and just playing the heroes that they know and love. has not been working for them just yet, as they only have 15 seconds remaining to get this last tick.
Boise State is definitely going to have the ultimate advantage. UC Davis is nowhere close to their ultimates. Huge shatter and gravitic flux as well. Plato taking out main support. KO also eliminated. And I think with that, the help from the application matrix as well from Chosen, that is going to be it for this match. The overtime timer ticks down, and Boise State winning this in Game 4.
Yep, Boise State definitely keeping their undefeated totals, but they did lose that watch point in Gibraltar, so UC Davis was able to bring some of it back. But Boise State does take game number 2 in this NACE Collegiate Overwatch tournament.
That is going to leave them with an undefeated record thus far in NACE, putting themselves among some of the top teams, and it's going to be interesting to see how the bracket goes up from here. And as the season goes on, Boise State is going to meet more and more challenging foes. Already, you know, with the way these things work out, they're probably going to go up against another 2-0 team next week. So I'm really excited to see how that match turns out. But right now, Boise State Esports is always looking for talented players, production, and broadcast talent. Top talent, along with good grades and eligibility, can earn scholarships as well. Sign up today by visiting boisestate.edu/esports for more information. So now we talk about just kind of looking back at the night overall as we get ready to name our ICCU player of the game. Do you have any choices?
For UC Davis, it's no question that it's KO. He was dominating force on that Winston. We couldn't shut up about him. He was fantastic. For Boise State, it's quite easy to say Gob on that Doomfist was definitely the key player there when he was playing the Doomfist. And if it wasn't about the Doomfist, then probably Plato on that frontline tank, just able to hold it down for his team as long as he did, or maybe even one of the supports, as we saw Chosen defending the final point on Temple of Anubis, as that Tracer did try to go around and cap it out, but he was there on the defense. So Boise State, you got some options.
You definitely do have some options. We will see who is named the ICCU player of the game. I would have to say, I think I would probably give it to Gob, even though it probably is the easiest choice. When you manage to push yourself in a way where you are the one person the other team needs to take out, then you definitely earn the ICCU player of the game. It is going to be Gob, who did some great work on that Genji. Of course, every Genji with a Nano Blade is just as happy as can be. And Gob is the ICCU player of the game, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like ICCU's helping members achieve financial success. Gob is your ICCU player of the game.
Yeah, Gob had some great plays, even when he did fat finger that blade before he had the Nano. When he got the Nano without it, he still got a couple eliminations onto the supports of UC Davis. He did very well in any of the DPS that he played, but his home bread and butter is definitely that Doomfist, as he's just been such a dominating force. So I'm curious how that'll transition over to Overwatch 2 with Doomfist getting an entirely new rework.
Yes, but well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. You know, we were thinking that this might be the semester, but no, we just have to wait until that game is thoroughly done, whenever that is. But we will have to focus right now on the victory that Boise State has. So do you have any big takeaways as we prepare to close out the night?
UC Davis learned a lot, and on Gibraltar, they definitely saw the potential that they had as a team to win when they played closer together and play around KO, in all honesty, because he was their win condition most of the time with that Primal Rage, even getting the Nano boost a couple times. And same with Boise State. They saw that with their subs, they have a lot of work ahead of them, and especially, as you mentioned, getting higher up in this bracketed tournament, you're going to be facing better teams, and when you need those subs to come in, they need to know the strats and the plays and the communication that the normal main roster of Boise State has. So all around learning experience for both, and congrats to Boise State for winning it.
All right, well, that'll close out our top plays, but we are not quite done for the night. Boise State has a very important bit of traveling ahead of them, and we might speak in a post-game presser with our own Doc Haskell if we have the time. Stay tuned for that if possible, but right now, for sure, we have our Idaho Army National Guard top 5 plays of the game, and they invite you to take your critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army Guard is the National Guard is the best team to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. For now, enjoy your top 5 plays of the game.
And the Shatter's going to come out along with the drop, the beat. So it's really down to how well UC Davis can brawl, but it looks like Boise State's going to be the dominating force with Gob getting another Meteor Fist coming in with the self-destruct, able to pick up both supports of UC Davis with the Archer Bagel, even able to eliminate KO on the Rhine.
Fighting, there goes right into the backline. Plato's just going to go right into the hallway, take out main support. Kabachi, Maxwell also taking out Royal, and that is probably going to be it. All Boise State needs is one tick. They have managed to take out most all the members of UC Davis, and that is it. Second win. Oh, no. Okay, there you go.
Instead, he's just going to go for the melee onto that McCree, and Asu's going to be able to get the boop elimination onto the Zarya, but Kel's going to be able to eat up the enemy Pulse Bomb as UC Davis is mounting their kind of final defense for this first card point.
Yeah, I think that might have been a little bit of fat finger from UC Davis or just a panic ultimate there. UC Davis, Bob is also going to join as well as a Shatter being used. Everything is going into this narrow corridor, and it's KO there, followed by Bob. That is going to do it for UC Davis. They managed to get the team wipe against Boise State. That is not something that we see often. Congratulations to the Aggies for pulling that off. As well as Blizzard, and Diva Bomb is able to take out Kabachi. KO follows quickly after. Boise State manages to pick up 1 point, but as this round goes on, it gets harder for Boise State because, although they might do it right now, they managed to! Wow, that was a quick snowball.